to the Tilley and Billy Show, episode 4. I'm Joe the Swiss Tilley.
I'm Billy the Greek.
Okay, we're coming to you from the Quarterbank Sports Bar and Grill, 925 Warden Avenue, Scarborough. The Quarterbank Sports Bar and Grill, 14,000 square feet of fun for pro standard playing equipment, great food. Book your party today, 416-757-2065, or go to thecornerbank.ca. That's where we are today.
The Greek knows a thing or two about pool halls, Joe.
Yeah, you've been a few, haven't you?
I'll tell you this. Yeah. In my estimation, this is probably one of the best pool halls that I've ever been to in my life. It's more than a pool room. If you're ever in the area, come on down. It's a good place to be.
TVs all over.
Yeah, it really is a good place to be, and it's more than just a pool hall, right?
I know it was ranked the #3 sports bar in Toronto and behind Real Sports. Yeah. And you know, it's a heck of a spot. It really is. Okay, we're going to start tonight's talk with the Maple Leafs. Today's talk with the Maple Leafs, and. Okay, so you know, I had these picks on the weekend. I picked the Leafs to lose an overtime game against Columbus and then come back and win against the Islanders, who were also playing on back-to-back nights. But it didn't work out that well, Billy. The Leafs did not look good in that second game against.
You know what the Leafs look like, Joe? Actually, they look like you know, a winter storm, right? An unexpected winter storm. The Leafs look like about 7 sports cars with their summer tires stuck in a snowstorm, spinning their wheels, right? And you know what was the worst part? Yeah. They had a 96 rusted up Corolla in net, man. You put those two things together, man, and you know what? I've been telling you guys for a long time, you Leaf guys out there, I've been telling you for a long time, that team is susceptible when you close the ice, and proof was in the pudding. The way the Islanders played that game, we couldn't breathe. We could not breathe. We could not move the puck. Could not do nothing. Where was the talent that we're talking about? That free flow,
so
right?
I saw 2 things happening in that game. One, okay, they were coming off back-to-back nights. They weren't at their best. They played a heck of a game the previous night in Columbus. Very good, an excellent game against a very good, very strong team, and a team that also likes to close the ice. And they did extremely well against the Blue Jackets. They came back the next night against the Islanders at home, and they just didn't have it. And you know, I don't blame. Garrett Sparks didn't have a great game at all. I mean, but he didn't have a terrible game either. And a lot of people have really come down on Sparks and blaming him for this. But I mean, you know, a couple of those goals definitely were soft. Let's face it. But it wasn't Garrett Sparks' fault. I don't blame him. I just don't think his teammates showed up that way.
Yeah, fair enough. But this was not a matter of effort. This was not a matter of will. This was a matter of getting out-executed, outplayed. The Islanders brought a strategy. The NHL is a copycat league, right? So the minute you see a recipe that shuts down Matthews, Martiner, Tavares, I'll tell you, like, they were invisible the whole game. So when that recipe is produced to the rest
where's the recipe? Because the recipe is this. How much is this? One of the high-scoring teams in the league.
Here's the recipe. If we play Tampa Bay, right, or if we play Montreal, Montreal skates with us. They're free-flowing. So does Tampa Bay. We don't got to worry about Tampa Bay's closing neutral zones. We play rush for rush with those kind of clubs. But when we face a Boston, an Islanders that they don't have as much talent as us, and the only way they can compete with us is to close that ice. When that ice closes, Joe, as you've seen, Marner was invisible. Matthews, these guys need ice. They need ice. They need time and space. When that time and space closes, so does the Leafs production, as evidence. And this is not only what you're going to see by certain clubs. Hold on. You're going to see this come playoff time. Teams that are inferior to the Leafs in terms of talent are going to play them what way? They're going to play them. They're going to play them the same kind of way.
So
and they're
going to counter that.
How do you counter that? You know how you counter that? Either through the personnel that you have, or internal or external. Either in any kind of game, when the ice is closed, you got to change momentum one way or another, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes when there's no ice, the only way you can change momentum in a hockey game is to go out and hit somebody, to go out and dump the puck, to go out and play along the boards. That's the only way. If they're closing the ice, man, you can't navigate your way through the neutral zone. You got to dump that puck in. You got to go get it. Who goes to get it on the Leafs? Who?
Zach Hyman.
Zach Hyman, and finally
Kadri.
Right? And other than that, every other guy on our club needs space. They need a little bit of time time to perform. You take that time away.
But you know, Mitch Martin's going to get there for you loose pucks as well. I mean, the guy's fearless, but you're probably not a guy you want going after loose pucks.
No, right? And again, that's what I've been saying for how long we've been doing this? About a month now?
Yeah.
I've been saying this not only a month, I've been saying this 6 months ago. I've been saying it a year ago, that the Leafs are a one-dimensional club. Beautiful dimension. We've said that. I don't want to be, we want this to be the broken record show, right? But the point of the matter is you better start to listen. You're a one-dimensional club. Can't win in any other kind of way unless it's a skating game. So if you don't have the horses to go in the corners, you better go out and get them. You better go out and find them. I don't need 7-8 Corvettes spinning their wheels. I need me a all-wheeler, man, that can go in the snow, go in the corner. Like how good did Komarov look? I don't want Leo back, but how good did Martin look? Like these guys
played an inspired game against their former team.
Absolutely.
And the Islanders played a very inspired game against their old buddy Tavares. I mean, let's face it. And Tavares did not have his best game. The Leafs did not have their best game. I disagree totally. I think the Leafs have the skill to beat anybody, anytime on skill alone. In today's game, where they call the clutching or grabbing, they call the crap. You know,
how many penalties Islanders get? Clutch and grab.
Yeah,
they shut down the zone.
But
did they get
over a 7-game series? I'm taking at least 5 games.
All right, fair enough. Maybe against the Islanders, but there's going to be a team. There's going to be a team we face conceivably with a higher level of talent than the Islanders that play the same style of game. How do we respond to that style of game? And you know who I put this last time? Directly, and he said it as much in his presser. This was a coaching loss. This is the first time Babcock and his guys were unprepared for what the Islanders were going to bring. Had no response throughout the game. And if you listen to Babcock, he said as much in his presser that we got outcoached, we got outplayed. This one, you know where this win belongs? This belongs in Trotz's hip pocket, man.
Trotz is a good coach. Let's face it, he's a good coach. What a difference that team is.
Last year, Joe. Last
Stanley Cup.
Forget his Stanley Cup is one thing, taking Washington there. But the Islanders were last in the league by far against goals against last year, by far. Like something that hadn't been seen in 10 years. This year they look like the 95 Devils, man. You can't breathe, man. How does that happen over the course of one off season, man? That's Barry Trotz, man, and that's where you know, man, that a good coach with a good system can make a difference, right? So kudos to him, man. They outplayed us and they beat us, hands down. Well,
right? I tell you something else. I mean, we've been harping on this. We've been talking about this. I'm completely convinced that this team, as it exists, is a good enough team to win it all. It really is. They probably are going to do a little bit of tweaking down the stretch.
Hold on. Would you? No. This I'm just checking something out here. Hold on. Come here. So you don't have a fever. There's no Baileys in there, and you're telling me this Leaf team is good enough, as constructed, after watching games like that they're going to win. They're going to win when. Hold on now. They're going to win where Carlton, the Bears, got a better chance to win a puck battle than Nylander, right? And you're expecting that same club that showed themselves on Saturday to go in a playoff series when the ice is limited and there's no freewheeling, there's no muscle, there's no grit, there's nobody along the boards, the defense is shaky at best, and you're telling me and the audience
every team has an off night. Every team has an off night. There's a total team collapse in that game.
No.
They're going to be better every game.
This show was not a one-off. This is a harbinger of things to come. And if the Leafs are smart enough, they'll realize this. Now,
listen, we have talked about this before. I do believe that if there's something that Mike Babcock says that he needs, Kyle Dubas will go.
How many times has Babcock referred to the term, if you noticed, a heavy player?
Right.
Who on the Leafs would you consider? Not only the way they.
Kadri's a heavy player.
When's the last time you hit somebody?
But
2 months ago.
Yeah, definitely Zach Hyman plays a strong, heavy game.
How about on the back end?
Tavares is tough to get off the puck.
All right.
Austin Matthews, he's strong on the puck. I mean, there's guys who are heavy in some ways. They're not certainly not hitters heavy, but they're certainly
who's heavy on the back end?
To get off the puck.
There you go.
He's kind of marginally heavy, but I like Morgan Riley. Morgan Riley plays.
Morgan Riley plays it all.
He plays it all.
But by no means Riley's a skater. He's a puck mover. He's everything. But by no means is
his. But he hits too.
His number one characteristic is not the fact he's heavy. Right? Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Zaitsev use the body a little more. I'd see Ozhiganov use the body a little more.
Can they? Or
I don't know. I'd like to see it happen.
All right, so when you make that decision, I'd like to see it happen too, right?
Yeah.
And if it doesn't happen, you're going to have no parades around here. You're going to have no beeping the horns after we won one game in the playoffs. There's going to be absolutely no parades, nothing of that sort. Like, don't you see it? Like, doesn't Dubas and Babcock see this team as constructed? How many times are we going to say this? They cannot win.
They know what they got. I mean, they've got a scouting system. Yeah. They've got coaching system. They've got coaches, a scouting system, a general manager. They know exactly what they've got, and they believe this team is good enough. And they didn't believe this team is good enough, then they would do something, and they will do something if they have to. That's my take on it. But another thing I want to say is that they went out and got Michael Hutchinson, okay, as a backup goalie. Okay, here's a guy who played for the Jets. I don't know, about 100 games, 43, 39, and 11 with the Jets. So he's a guy who's played. I think just over 100 games for the Jets.
If Michael Hutchinson, God bless
28
him.
years old.
God bless him. If he's any part of the journey moving forward for Leaf fans to win a cup, boy, you're in trouble. If you're relying on him as a stopgap measure, sure. I guess the other kid that wasn't there, they could have got our cameraman Brian off the street to play net for a couple games, right? Whatever the case is, man.
Brian's pretty good.
He's got a thing. He's got
the moves. He's quick.
Hey?
Cat like reflex.
Yeah, you have to notice that too. Absolutely, he's a beauty, right? But again, what do we go? Where's the conversation go from here? My contention is, and it always has been, that either if you want to catch Tampa Bay and avoid the 2-3 spot, right? Avoid whoever's going to be, more than likely either Boston, Montreal, Buffalo. If you don't like that matchup, you got to go 1-8. You got to catch Tampa Bay, right? So if you want to catch Tampa Bay, you're not going to catch them with this squad that you have here. You better make a trade. If you've resigned yourself to the notion that you're playing for 2 or 3,
it's like a track meet, and I like the Leafs athletes in this one. I do. I think that the Leafs can outgun Tampa, and they will. They all outgun Tampa. And they obviously need Freddie Anderson.
Absolutely they need Freddie. But Joe, I'm telling you, they need some kind of additions in terms of board battles, in terms of playing a different style of game. Again, you cannot exclusively play one game. Like, for example, I'll explain.
You just can't turn a team's personality and flip it.
No, but you can make small additions.
Add a couple of small additions. Like we talked about Simmons, and there's other guys that they could bring in as well. But I still like to see what Timothy Liljegren will do at the big league level, just to see what he can do. Who knows? I mean, the guys have been called up before, and they've done it, and they surprised me.
Yeah, much to the chagrin of some of the more analytical. I'm not an analytical mind, man. I wing everything. I got no notes, man. My eyes tell me what I see, and analytics has made Simmons, has referred to Simmons as a player on the downside of his career, right? Any kind of advanced analytic would suggest that. But here's what I'm telling you, that advanced analytics cannot measure a person's motivation and what's going on in here. Simmons is a Toronto boy. He's a free agent. Simmons, in essence, is in a bad marriage with Philadelphia. Hasn't made love to his wife, I don't know, a couple months. There's no romance, no nothing, and separation's calling. If you put Simmons on a Leaf roster, right, you know what you're going to get to Simmons? We're the young blind. You put that guy on a Leaf roster, you know what you're going to get? You're going to get
an action every night. Is that what you're saying?
Nah. You're going to get for 40 games. You're going to get the 18-year-old kid. You know what his legs are going to be like? Yeah. You know what he's going to look like beside Matthews?
I agree.
You know what he's going to look like in the corner? So don't let advanced analytics fool you. There's more to scouting players in the game than what you see. You cannot measure their heart. If I'm Dubas, I get Simmons, I get him immediately, and I let him ride shotgun with Matthews, put Wee Willie on the other side, and let them play together. Let them play together. If you brought Simmons here, believe me, and if you've watched these podcasts for the last 3 weeks, everything I've said basically has come true. I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I don't watch it, man. Watch it. Watch the predictions. Watch the facts.
And you know what? Again, I've been on side with Simmons from the outside.
So what's it going to cost you?
I do think that there are intangibles there that you can't measure with analytics. Yeah. And I think that Simmons will definitely bring that to the table, being a Scarborough boy. I really like that. I really like like that pick. So anyway, this segment has been brought to you by the Taxperts Group. If you need help with personal and corporate tax filings, if you're being reviewed through the Canada Revenue Agency Audit and Appeal Divisions, Taxperts Group is the best firm in Toronto. 2 lawyers, 3 CPAs. Call the Taxperts at 416-493-0444 or go to the website at taxpertsgroup.ca.
You hear that over there, Pete?
Right.
Pay your taxes, eh? You hear that? Hey, you don't want this number, eh?
Yeah, man. It's always good to pay your taxes, but if you do have any issues with the Taxperts, okay, they take care of business for you. All right, so now we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about the NBA, and we're going to talk about the Raptors. Been a bit of a slump lately. I think they were 8-7 for the month of December. It wasn't really good. Okay, so obviously injuries would be a problem. But here's what happened. Okay, so they lost to Denver twice. That's no shame in that, right? Once at home, once in Denver. They lost to the Blazers in Portland. That's not, you know, that's doable. Bucks are hot. Bucks are maybe the second best team in the NBA behind the Raps. Are 1-2 with the Raps, 1-1-8, whatever you like. Lost to Philly. Philly's a good team. Also beat Philly in the month of December. Lost to the Nets. Ouch. That one hurt. Lost to the Magic. That one hurt.
That one hurt, eh?
A lot. Of course, I didn't bet on it.
You know what you did say? You said you were 4-0 before you made that pick. Hey, kiss of death, man. Never tell yourself that.
Never pat your own back. That's what's going to happen. So, okay, so here's where the Raps are at. An 8-7 December month for what, you know, far and away the best team in the NBA heading into December, but injuries have obviously been a problem.
You take a look at all those clubs that we lost to. What do the majority of them have in common?
They're good.
Majority of
young, strong, good.
The majority of the clubs we lost, you know what they got, Joe? The common denominator. They got a guy down low that we can't handle without Valanciunas. You look at that guy from Orlando, scored 30 and 20. What's his name? I don't even know his name. 30 and 20, Vucevic. Whatever, right? Doesn't really matter. We'll never talk about him again. See you later.
No, he's
all right. Okay, fair enough. We're talking about...
Very good player for the coming on that team.
All right, Joel Embiid. Couldn't shut him down. Any player, any team that we've lost to, we've lost because at the beginning of the year, JV bangs with these guys. The NBA is not a center-driven league like it was in the old days. But you'll get 5, 6, 7 teams that got a horse in the 5. And Ibaka's not meant to play that horse. Monroe's like... I don't know. He's like, you know, at the latter side of his career. And then
I like Monroe's game. I really like his game when he was with the Pistons. Right?
Yeah, when he was with the Hoyas, he was beautiful. But he's like almost pushing like, you know, your age. Anyways, he's every time I throw a cheap shot at this guy, I lose my train of thought. Or was I Siakam? He's a little bit wiry. You know, nobody can handle those guys down. Man. Those guys.
Siakam.
Yeah, those guys play the 3, the 4, right?
Yeah.
But that's why you saw the most noticeable effect of Valanciunas against Philadelphia. When Embiid swallowed him up, ate Monroe up, ate Siakam when he tried to cover him. So, and this is very surprising to me because I'll put my foot in my mouth. I never realized what kind of presence Valanciunas has to this Raptor team, how important he is. I was a skeptic from the beginning, but now I've come to see that the way he's deployed with Ibaka is one of the critical and key pieces to their hot start. That and you factor in Lowry too, right? The game changes without Lowry in the lineup.
His role has changed since Nick Nurse became head coach.
Yeah,
I think the role of a lot of these guys has changed. He's got to do different things, and he's coming into the game at different times. Yeah. He's starting Ibaka a lot of nights, bringing JV off the bench. And I don't know what that does to his ego, but he certainly doesn't be bothering him at all because he's getting the job done. I really like what he's done. You know, he's going to be coming back in like 2 or 3 weeks from now with coming off that brutal thumb injury. Maybe 3 weeks from now, he'll be back. He'll be 100%. Everything will be good. Kyle Lowry. The thing we have to worry about is, how bad is that back? Is that back really an issue? I mean,
it could get a little heavy, man. Like, what's he carrying in the suitcase? About 30 million?
Yeah,
that could be tough.
Right?
That could be tough on a man's back, carrying around that kind of cash. Anyways, you think about it. You think about the Raptor squad again. The hardest thing to attain and hold on to in any endeavor, even in front of a camera, anywhere you go in your life, is confidence. Once you have that confidence, you talk about JV. He plays the game. Nick Nurse has elicited confidence from JV. CJ Miles on the other. You know what kind of confidence he has. He can't even get off the floor. He can't even get off the floor for a minute, right?
I don't want to have But I like Danny. If you look at it though, you look at the players whose game has been elevated this year. Okay, Danny Green coming back. You know, he having a great year. You know, because he was a spare part. You know, and Kawhi Leonard, I mean, nothing elevates his game, but he is averaging. He's coming off like his best week in averaging 29 points a game. He's having a real nice season.
The one thing people don't realize.
JB though is good. Serge Ibaka, back here. Pascal Siakam, what he's doing better. Chris Boucher, the Canadian kid, right? I mean, he's getting an opportunity. I love the work he's doing at the hoop. Right, he's some big blocks in that game. Against Chicago. I mean, you know, he's going to take him. He's pretty green, but it's going to take him a while to find his game at this level.
Absolutely, injuries are opportunities, right?
Yeah,
right. So again, what the Raptors do between now. What do you do? What do you do? How healthy is your squad, and what do you do come playoff time? Right. That's when the proof's in the pudding. Right.
Every team has injuries.
Yeah, and ups and downs, and lose by 40 to Orlando and what have you. That's the life of the NBA. You can't get excited every night. You can't bring your best every night. You're there, right?
Right.
So not too high, not too low, right? And just.
I'd say there is one issue that could be an issue, and that is if Kyle Lowry has a long-term back, and it's a long-term thing. That is
absolutely. That would definitely change the tenor of what the East would look like in terms of the Raptors being on top of the pendulum, right? Kyle Lowry, long-term injury, then you got to start asking yourself a lot of questions if you're Masai and
so if he is missing a bit of time, if he's missing a considerable amount of time, as long as they can tread water, because I think that number one seed is really important. It's been important in the Eastern Conference.
And kind of kudos again to Masai for having some serviceable backups. Fred VanVleet, he's up and down. Like he'll go 3 for 12 or 6 for 8. He can look like the best player on the court or somebody that's struggling. His inconsistency in his game is troubling. But still, to have him as a backup and also to have DeLon, right? That's a luxury that other teams don't have. You take away Westbrook, you take away any of the other point guards from other teams, and they go down, right? They're in trouble.
Yeah, John Wall's out now.
Yeah, right. And you know where the Wizards are at. Wizards are where we're there from the beginning. You know, which kind of makes me want to ask what the availability of Bradley Beal is like coming over. But then we're getting in different territory, right? So
you always got to give something up for
and it smells from my end.
I do like this chemistry.
Yeah, and it smells from my end like Siakam in that kind of way. If you wanted Bradley Beal, you can't get him on the cheap, I don't think. But you can still make a call, right?
Yeah. Well, one other thing too is I think if the Raptors have a really good year, and by good year I mean getting to the conference final or to the NBA championship or winning it all. I see any of those three scenarios: getting to the conference final, getting to the NBA championship, or winning it all.
Healthy.
Any of those three scenarios, I think, will go a long way to if they can land Kawhi Leonard to a long-term deal. And I think, I don't know Kawhi Leonard more than I know more than you know him, or more than Brian knows or anything else. But the thing is, what I like is what the Raptors have done here, what Nick Nurse has done, giving him the time off, giving him basically making this into his team.
Yeah.
He's got to like that. And if I'm a Kawhi Leonard, say coming from San Antonio, coming from another place, coming to Canada, seeing a whole country behind the NBA team like there's like 35 million fans basically, the whole country supporting this Raptors team. I think that has to go a long way to impressing Leonard. And another thing I like there's also our politics, right?
Yeah.
Our political situation, right? If you stay in Canada, okay, you don't have to worry about the guy with the orange hair down there. Right? Okay, so if you got any problems, any issues with that guy, you don't have to worry about it if you stay in Canada. And you've got a whole country behind you, and you've got a very good team that could do a lot of good things for a number of years.
Trudeau's waiting.
Yeah. You'll get a personal visit from Pierre Trudeau when it comes time to deal that contract. Is that all right? Yeah, no, I think it's doable. Okay, that's it for the Raptors. Okay, so this segment has been brought to you by Wealth Realized Financial Services. Visit Mike Hopkins at wealthrealized.ca. Okay, Mike, good guy. Yeah. You're Wealth Realized. Okay, the next thing we're talking about is the NFL. There's plenty to talk about after this final weekend of the season.
going to do this for? Who's our NFL guy?
NFL guy?
Yeah.
We've done the tax.
Let's give Graham a little shout out here.
Okay. No, we're gonna do Aldo.
Yeah, we'll do Aldo.
Aldo.
Yeah, Aldo.
The NFL Hall segment is brought to you by Aldo at Remax Crossroads. Call 416. Get Aldo for your special Tilley and Billy discount.
Get Aldo, the star wide receiver of Remax.
Aldo's good.
Yeah,
He's very good. Great guy too. Okay, so. We're going to talk about the NFL final weekend of play. Everything was decided. The Ravens are in, the Eagles are in, the Colts are in. Texans are out.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, Texans are in. Titans are out.
Titans are out.
Ravens are in. That means Pittsburgh's out. Eagles are in, and that means Minnesota's out. And in a game that the Vikings had to win, they came up.
They laid a big egg, and they laid it at the feet of Mr. $84 million man, Kirk Cousins.
Right.
Kirk Cousins played. I don't know if Cousins played like that, he'd have a hard time cracking the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Right.
Really, he'd be, I don't know, maybe second string there. He was, I don't know, for better or worse, man, the best word that comes to mind is just atrocious.
Right. But but give credit to the Eagles.
Yeah.
Who got the job done, and in a game they had to win. And really, in last half of this season, the Eagles have been a very good team. They've started to look like a team that won the Super Bowl last year, and they're going to give teams some trouble.
Again, if you haven't seen, if this is the first podcast you're turning into, because sometimes I might come across as a loudmouth Greek guy watch the previous podcast. Watch a previous podcast. This guy's sitting over here, you better take me seriously. I told you 2 weeks ago, I told you the Eagles are going to play the Bears. Watch it, look at it, it's right there. I told you 3 weeks ago that New Orleans couldn't cover against Carolina. I told you the week after the Raiders were going to win by 14 as 4-point underdogs. Sorry, I was wrong. They won by 13. Right? So, hello. You better start listening. So let me tell you what's going to happen. Before I tell you this, let me tell you who's the GOAT of the week in the NFL. Greek's got so much on his mind he forgets names sometimes. Bear with me. The Cleveland, I wish somebody would chime in. The Cleveland Browns head coach, Greg Williams. There he is. One of the biggest bonehead moves I've seen in terms of clock management in my history. If I'm a Steeler fan, I'm not happy today. This guy's got 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line with 1:20 left, Joe.
Right, okay.
Baltimore's got 2 timeouts. So what does this potato head go and do? He goes and... We're talking 3 downs.
To get 7 yards.
Yeah.
To be able to win the game. And send Pittsburgh, who I love, to the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel your pain, brother. That's why I'm kind of trying.
He's on board with you, Billy.
So Williams, here's what Williams does. 1st and 10 at the 39.
He got fired today, didn't he?
I don't know if you got.
There's a whole bunch of people.
Black Monday and all NFL. Anybody and everybody gets fired.
Got fired today. Five coaches got fired today. Okay.
1st and 10, Joe. Hold on, guys. I'm talking. 1st and 10 at the 39. 2 timeouts, Baltimore. So number one thing, if you're a coach, you want that to be the last possession of the game. Even if you're down 2, you want that kick, and that's game either you make it or you miss it. Baltimore does not get the ball back, number one. Run the ball. Run the ball. Make Baltimore use a timeout. See what they're doing. Run the ball. Get 3 yards maybe. Don't put Baker in a position where he's got to throw against that blitz 4 times. Get to the 30. At least get an opportunity to kick that field goal. At least you have to, and that's inexcusable. If this guy was applying for that job moving forward, and you want that, stick to defense, Williams. That's where you've been your whole life. If that's how you think when the game's on the line, and that's how you execute your plan, if I'm the owner, man, you don't got a job for me, man. Actually, I wouldn't even hire you to be a trainer, man. See you later. Let's go. Right? Terrible. If I'm a Steeler fan, I'm not.
Yeah.
But if I'm a Steeler fan, I'm pissed off today. I'm pissed off at him specifically, right? And the fact that, you know what, Steelers started out 7-2, kind of shit their own bed as well, right?
Right.
So,
yeah. And of course, just to touch on the Colts here, I mean, really, the Titans when Mariota went down, right?
No, you figure at that point in time, you figure with Blaine Gabbert as your backup, right?
Right.
You had trouble moving the ball the whole game. You don't have your horse there.
Yeah.
Indy's won 8 out of 9, right?
Andrew Luck looked good.
Andrew Luck looked good, but Joe, so would I, man. If nobody hits me, if I can sit back in the pocket, fix how's the hair?
Yeah.
If I can sit back in the
hair's impeccable.
If I can sit back in the pocket for half a day, read the defense and throw the ball, be all right too, man. At least, you know.
Well,
Okay.
if you could throw the ball 60 yards.
Yeah, right.
It helps a little.
Well, I don't know. You want to take me in the parking lot? Anyways, that's besides the point. Point of the matter is, Indy, at 9 out of their last 10, it's like, without a doubt, have an opportunity, like any other team in the AFC, to represent the conference moving forward. It's wide open. Hell, the Steelers could have represented the AFC, and they're watching from their couches, right? Wide open.
It's so close that way. But you know one team that has dominated the AFC? The Chiefs. And I know they had the issue with the running back, but listen, Patrick Mahomes is unbelievable.
Yeah, he is.
5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. Only the second quarterback to do that.
Not only
this
that,
kid is unbelievable.
Not only that, he's kind of what?
Shirley likes.
He's very good looking.
He's very good looking,
Very
man.
good looking too. Okay,
Yeah.
Shirley said. All right.
But you know, with Mahomes, Joe, without a doubt, man, you can't deny the stats and the production, but you also question the age. He's never been in that spot before, right? How's he gonna handle that spot, right? How's he gonna handle? You never know until you know.
Tom Brady had to handle the spot. Okay?
Yeah, he did, but until he did, you never know until you know, right? Jury's out still. You're not telling me, you're not anointing a guy that's never played a playoff game, and he's going to go zoom to the thing. He's going to have to prove himself, right?
Right.
And the jury, in my opinion, still out. I look for, and I made the mistake last week just to clear the record. I had Drew Brees with 15 kids. I was informed on Twitter that I was kind of like, it's Rivers that's got the 15 kids.
Rivers.
I didn't mean to put him in
Just
Drew.
15?
Yeah, I don't know, somewhere along. I look for Phillip Rivers to have the spotlight. He's had a long and storied career.
Right.
He's never got there, and I believe that there's any opportunity this year. I believe
So you'd like to see the Chargers?
I like. Not only do I like them, but if I had a dollar that was wanting to fall out of my back pocket, I'd probably put on the Chargers, right? At least from the AFC side. So,
Right.
I don't know. Wide open.
So, okay.
Flip a quarter. Wide open.
Speaking of which, we're going to go to our picks now.
Yeah.
Billy's fearless picks. The Greek Magic is going to come
Greek
on
Magic,
here.
eh?
The Greek Magic brought to you by Toronto Investment Advisor Graham Kirkland. Visit argoseekirkland.com. Let's talk about this week's wildcard matchups.
You know, this week's wildcard matchups on a Monday afternoon. You're putting the Greek on the spot.
Okay.
Greek needs to do a little bit of.
Okay, we'll get a chance to do some research. Give us a.
Number one, if I'm giving out picks to anybody, to you or to anybody else, I take them seriously.
Okay.
I don't mess around. Like I want to believe in what I think and what I say. Otherwise, it's not going to come out of my mouth, especially if it relates to football. I don't want some poor sucker over here believing, loving the Greek, maybe trusting them too much, and coming up short on the rep, man. I'm going to give you all I got, man. So here's where I'm at. Like initially, I'm
in a general way.
In a general way, right? In a general way, and they'll keep coming back for the full info,
right?
Yeah. So you got.
Okay. So
want to start?
First of all, give us your Twitter handle so that the people can go to catch you on Twitter later in the week.
I'm gonna have picks ready for you once I believe in them. If I believe in them, a Greek might even sit out at the original Greek Freak.
The original Greek Freak, got it? At the original Greek Freak.
Freak. You know what? Sorry.
At the original Greek Freak. By the way, my Twitter handle at Joe Swiss Tilley, Instagram handle at Joe Swiss Tilley.
I have something for you later in the week.
Facebook Joe Tilley.
Yeah. Who do you want to talk about first? Which game?
Let's talk about the NFC.
NFC? All right. The way I see the NFC.
Cowboys.
Cowboys open up.
Your team. Your buddies.
Keep it down. Don't break my anonymity here. You know what? Line opened up today at 2.5. I'll tell you this: for gambling guys that are inclined to like the Cowboys, Vegas sets that odd at 2.5 to elicit money on Dallas. They know that line's going up for Dallas. That line is going to go up to by Sunday, and watch if I'm wrong and prove it to me, because I'm not in this way. That line's going to go up to 3.5, 4. Dallas will be favored by game time on Saturday afternoon by 4 points. Mark my words. So if you like Dallas, I can't say that I do yet. You bet them today. You don't wait for 3-4 days because you're going to miss that field goal, right? You bet them today if you like them. Same thing goes with the Charger game. Chargers open up as 2.5-point dogs, right?
Right.
And where do you think that line's going to go?
Yeah.
All the smart money's going to say, wait a minute, I know where it's going to go on the Chargers.
Yeah.
So if you like Chargers or Dallas, right? Or even the Houston, Tennessee. Houston's open up as 2.5-point favorites. Right. If you like them, that's a funny. That line can go either way, right?
Well, it depends on what is happening with Mariota.
Yeah. No, Mariota's got.
It's going to be bad your luck.
Yeah.
No,
Right. Yeah. So in those kind of ways, and again, if you're inclined to gamble, you want to wait to see the status of the Philly quarterback. You want to see what Foles is like.
Yeah, Foles.
Right. You want to get injury reports, and also you want to factor in that 6.5 points to me, because when you're a champion in any sport, right, and you come back, it's hard to knock off a champion. Philadelphia showed heart to go into the Rams and win. 13-3 Rams. They go into Washington, they win, they beat Houston at home. It's a championship caliber club that hoisted a Lombardi last year. You think they're going to go out that easy? 6.5 points. Okay, I'll put it out there right now. Chicago Bears with that offense cannot cover 6.5 points, man. I take the Eagles. I'll lay the 6.5
and go under.
That's interesting. Depends how the game goes. I try to stay away from that. I try to stay away from the over-unders, especially on a Monday, not knowing what fuel conditions are like, not knowing what anything, right? If I took the under today and it's sunny and 58 degrees and the over-under's 34.5, and I'm a dummy by game time, right? I can't know that kind of stuff, so I've got to wait a little bit to see. But at 6.5 points, I'm taking the world champion Philadelphia Eagles to cover against the Bears. I like the Bears maybe to win outright. That's going to be a Donnybrook of a game, right? Anyway, you look at it, and I'm also inclined to say that Cowboys. I'm leaning towards the Cowboys to give Seattle beating, and I'll tell you for what reason. The game they played against the Giants, a meaningless game, right? Meaningless game. Dallas couldn't go nowhere. Giants couldn't go nowhere. And if you watch that game,
which makes me wonder why they even
here's
Prescott, right?
But here's what they played. Here's the interesting piece, right? New Orleans sits everybody. They lose by 20. They don't care. Breeze is sitting back like this, taking selfies, whatever, right? He deserves it. The guy's 40 years old, Hall of Famer. But Dallas played. If you watch the Dallas Cowboys when they got the 2-point conference, won the game, they rushed that field like it was a Super Bowl. So what does that mean to me? They're invested. They're emotionally invested every moment of every day. They don't take the brakes off. They didn't take the brakes off against the Giants, and you know what that means.
Is that good coaching?
Is that good coaching? If I'm Garrett, you know what I do? I applaud Garrett for that. And you can't. Dak Prescott, hasn't earned the right to take a week off. Elliott has. Dak has not earned the right to take one play off, because if Dak Prescott can play at a premium level, there's not a better team in terms of 3 levels of defense than the Cowboys. They got best running back in football, arguably, and they got wideouts that can compete. There's not a better team. It all rests on Dak Prescott. So, can he do this? Only time will tell, right?
Okay, well that's it. You know, that wraps up our show. Before we go, I want to give a plug out to our buddy John at Walsh's Snug in downtown Newcastle. Great food, music, and lively conversation. And that wraps it up here from the Quarterbank Sports Bar and Grill for Tilley and Billy, episode 4. Hope you enjoyed it. Send us your remarks, email us.
And Happy New Year to everybody out there. Be safe.
Send us it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever.
Just don't show up at my house.
All right. We'll see you next week.